Welcome back to the Lemon Factor. I'm Chad, and today I'm here with our 2023 Toyota GR Supra, and we're going to do one of our first cosmetic mods on our newest project car. So we're going to vinyl wrap the roof. It really changes the look, and I think for the cost of the vinyl wrap, it's a cheap modification. If you don't like it, you can remove it. So in today's video, we're going to do just that. We're going to vinyl wrap our roof, and I will take you through the process that I'm following. Full disclosure, I am not an expert in vinyl wrapping. So with that said, I'll take you through the tools I'll use, the process I'll follow, and we'll see how it looks, the before and the after. So if you're interested in finding out how to vinyl wrap your Toyota Supra's roof, or you simply just want to see how it turns out, then stay tuned. The first thing we're going to do is thoroughly clean the roof. Not just the roof, but we're also going to clean the edges to make sure that there's no dirt in between the roof panel and the weather stripping. If you need to, use a clay bar to pull off any contaminants. We're going to remove the roof rails on either side. We'll clean those thoroughly, and then we're going to clean in the trench of the roof rail. So I do have a trim removing tool. I have a set of these. I'll leave a link in the description below. What we're going to do is, using a cloth, something softer, we're going to pry up one of the edges, and they're hooked together so that once we pry up one edge, I'm going to slide it forward, and then it should come off. It should come off. Popped right off. It's a good sign. See if we can slide it forward. There it goes. And there it is. Next, I'm going to apply some painter's tape to the front and the rear glass. This will help minimize the amount of tack from the vinyl, so it will be a little bit easier to work with. It'll also provide a level of protection when we're ready to cut the vinyl. So next is, I'm going to use some 3M knifeless tape, and I'm going to lay that in the center of the roof rail trench. And what that's going to do is, it has a little thread in the middle, and when we wrap it, the wrap is going to go over that knifeless tape, and when we're ready, you'll pull on the thread, and the thread will cut through the vinyl wrap. What's good about that is, if you're wrapping in an area where there's a high risk of damaging what's underneath it, that 3M knifeless tape is perfect. We're going to run this right down the center. You don't need to be perfect, especially in this situation, because our roof rail is going to go right over it. I wasn't going to, but I thought, what the hell, let's try it. I also use the 3M knifeless tape on the front and the back. Remember which one should be pulled off first. So in our case, the front and the rear is overlapping our sides. So we want to make sure we pull those threads, that 3M knifeless tape, off first before we do the sides. Otherwise, we risk pulling up on the sides and messing that up. I got our vinyl wrap. What we're going to do is a gloss black to match the A-pillars in the front. You could do carbon, you could do a color, you do whatever you want. What I have here is Avery Dennison. I've used several different vinyl wraps, and I will tell you that, again, I'm not an expert, but there is a difference in how they feel when you apply. Some are thicker, some are thinner, some have more stretch and flexibility to it. Others will rip easily. I haven't found one that I could say, hey, this is my favorite, but I have used the 3M. I've used the Avery several times. I've used Oracal, and they all work. You just need to learn how to work with the vinyl wrap in order for it to be effective. One thing I didn't mention is after I cleaned it, I did wipe all of the paneling down with a mixture of distilled water and isopropyl alcohol. That way it'll remove any of the either soap residue or wax or even grease from your hand. So it removes all that, gives a nice clean surface for the vinyl to stick to. All right, now honestly, this is a hard part for one person. For two people, you'd have one person on the other side, another on the side that I'm on, lift it up, peel off the backing and slide that off, holding the vinyl up. Make sure that you both have it by the ends, holding it taut and placing it in the center, and we will start our work in the center. Now with just me, it's gonna be a little bit more difficult. Now you want to touch the back, the sticky part, as little as possible. You don't want to get any lint, debris, hairs on this. So like I said, we're going to start from the middle, work our way out. I'm using a felt tipped squeegee. See, I got a crease. We'll just pop it up. Start again. You may need to add a little heat on that crease to release it. Having some good lighting is really important. That way you can see any creases, bubbles, whatnot. And it releases. There we go. So we're almost done. As you can see, the front driver's side, the rear driver's side, the back passenger side. Here, I need to finish just a little bit right in the front here, and then I'm going to post heat all of this one more time. This is the hardest part, is to get that thread out, and the thread needs to pull and rip through the green sticky part. And as we get up here, we're going to hold this taut, and with a nice tug, the thread should start cutting the vinyl. It'll cut it all the way across. Here's the thread, and it's splitting down the middle of the green plastic. Now we want to make sure that our vinyl's taut to it. There you go. So cut the vinyl, and you'll just keep going. And as you take this off, you also need to remove the rest of the 3M knifeless tape. There's enough gap in the front here that if you're careful enough, you could use your razor blade and cut right in between the gap here. Just make sure that you leave enough room that it's going to tuck over. So we didn't tuck it in the weather stripping, we tucked it over the weather stripping. But we had enough of an overhang to be able to do that. I applied a little bit of heat as I went and tucked it with various tools, whether it's my felt tip squeegee or my little, there you go. Both of them work very well, especially applying a little bit of heat, and I'm happy with how this turned out in the front here. So we have our vinyl in the roof rail, and yes, there's some bumps here, but that's not a big deal because the roof rail is going to go right on top of that. For the back, we did a pretty good job with the 3M tape, only having enough overlap that we were able to tuck it in underneath the weather stripping. I used a business card to open up a little bit, slide it along, used my tucking tool to tuck it in, and then applied a little bit of heat just to smooth things out. If you recall, we popped up the front, pulled it forward, and slid it out. So we'll go in reverse order. The roof rail has a hole in the back portion where a tab that is attached to the trench of the rail will tuck into. So make sure you tuck that in and then apply some pressure along various points to hear it snap into place. This is not perfect. I'm not a professional. There are a couple flaws. Let me point some of these out to you. So hopefully you don't make the same mistakes I made. Here's the first spot. So this area, the vinyl wrap is marred and there's nothing I can do to fix this now. And what happened was, in this general vicinity, I was having a hard time with some creases, and I kept picking it up to heat it, to release the crease, to try again. And instead of waiting a little bit for it to cool down, I worked the vinyl when it was too warm, too hot, and it marred the surface. So it kind of melted as I was moving the squeegee along. So another spot is right here. So I got two little bubbles here, and I cannot get that out with my finger. What's the lesson there? I don't know, take your time. Use lighting. Look at the vinyl from different angles to make sure you got everything. That was just a miss on my part. Well, there you go. Our vinyl wrapped 2023 Toyota GR Supra. I think we're done for today. I want to thank you very much for joining, and until next time.